Hello and welcome to the English Corner, your place to listen, learn, and level up your English skills. I'm your name, and today we have another exciting episode designed to improve your listening and speaking abilities through storytelling. Listening to stories is a great way to enhance your vocabulary, pronunciation, and comprehension. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. The Secret of the Old Bookshop. In a quiet corner of the city, nestled between two towering buildings, stood a small, dusty bookshop. It wasn't flashy or modern, and most people walked past it without a second glance. But for those who knew its secret, it was a place of mystery and magic. 12-year-old Emily had always been a curious girl. She loved reading more than anything else, and she spent hours in the school library losing herself in the pages of adventure books. One rainy afternoon, as she was walking home from school, she noticed the tiny bookshop for the first time. The wooden sign above the door read, "Whitmore's Rare Books." Something about it felt different. The moment she stepped inside, a warm, woody scent filled her nose, the smell of ancient paper and forgotten stories. The shop was dimly lit, with books stacked high on every available surface. An old man with silver hair and round glasses sat behind the counter, reading a book with a dark blue cover. "Welcome," he said, peering over his glasses. "You must be new here." Emily nodded. "I love books. I've never seen this place before." "That's because it only appears to those who are meant to find it," the man said with a twinkle in his eye. Emily's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" The old man smiled and stood up, leading her to a shelf in the back of the store. He pulled out a thick, leather-bound book and handed it to her. "This is no ordinary book. Open it." Emily hesitated, then slowly turned the cover. The pages were blank. She looked up, confused. "Think of a story," the man encouraged her. "Any story at all." Emily thought about her favorite book and adventure about a girl who traveled through time. As soon as she formed the idea in her mind, words began to appear on the pages. The letters danced across the paper, forming sentences, paragraphs, and entire chapters. Emily gasped. "It's writing itself." The old man chuckled. "No, dear. You're writing it with your imagination. This book brings stories to life." She turned the pages, watching as entire worlds unfolded before her eyes. Castles, dragons, distant planets, all coming to life through the magic of words. "Can I keep it?" she asked, her voice full of wonder. The old man nodded. "But remember, a story is only as powerful as the heart that tells it. Use it wisely." Emily left the shop that day clutching the book tightly to her chest, knowing that her life would never be the same again. From that moment on, she not only read stories, she created them. But her adventure had only just begun. That night, as she lay in bed, she opened the book once more. The words on the first page had changed. Instead of a blank space, they now read, "Welcome, Emily. Your story begins now." A chill ran down her spine. She turned the page, and suddenly a gust of wind whished through her room. The book glowed, and in an instant, she found herself no longer in her bedroom, but standing in the middle of a dense forest. What just happened?" she whispered. The trees around her rustled, and in the distance she heard voices. Steeling herself, she took a step forward. The moment her foot touched the ground, the book in her hand vanished, replaced by a small golden compass. "Find the lost story," a voice echoed in her mind, "or be trapped here forever." Emily's heart pounded. She had no idea where she was or what lay ahead, but she knew one thing: this was her story now, and she had to see it through. With a deep breath, she walked toward the voices, ready to uncover the mystery of the bookshop's magic. The deeper she ventured into the forest, the stranger things became. The trees seemed to shift when she wasn't looking. The air smelled different, like ink and parchment, and the voices she had heard earlier were no longer distant. They were whispering all around her. "Who's there?" she called out. A girl stepped out from behind a tree. She was around Emily's age, wearing an old-fashioned dress and holding a quill in her hand. "You have the book, don't you?" the girl asked, her voice urgent. I did," Emily stammered. "But now I have this compass instead." The girl's eyes widened. "That means you've been chosen. You must find the lost story before it's too late." "What lost story?" Emily asked, confused. The girl sighed. "Every great story that's ever been told started in that book. But some stories get lost before they're finished. If we don't find it, it will disappear forever." A sense of responsibility washed over Emily. She didn't know how, but she knew she had to help. "Okay, where do we start?" The girl pointed to the compass in Emily's hand. "Follow where it leads." The golden needle spun wildly before pointing to a narrow path between the trees. Emily took a deep breath and started walking, with the mysterious girl by her side. As they traveled, they encountered more characters: an old knight searching for his forgotten quest, a young inventor whose blueprints had vanished, and a poet who had lost the last lines of his masterpiece. Each of them needed Emily's help, and with every mystery she solved, the pages of the book and the real world filled in once more. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached the heart of the forest. A massive ancient book lay open on a stone pedestal. Its pages were blank, and the compass in Emily's hand began to glow. "Write the ending," the girl urged. "Only you can finish the story." Emily hesitated, then placed her hands on the page. She closed her eyes and imagined an ending where every lost story was found, where the knight completed his quest. The inventor saw her creation come to life, and the poet's words were remembered forever. When she opened her eyes, the pages were filled with golden ink. The bookshop owner's voice echoed around her. "Well done, Emily." In a flash of light, she found herself back in her room, the book resting on her lap. The words on the last page read, "The end for now." She smiled, knowing that the story was only just beginning. And that's the end of today's story. What did you think? If you enjoyed it, try summarizing it in your own words or retelling it to a friend. This is a great way to improve your speaking and build confidence in English. Don't forget to tune in next time for another exciting story. Until then, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep leveling up.